Hello, everyone. Wednesday, February the 7th. There's only 1 week away for the beginning of Lent. So use the time now to prayerfully discern what you're going to do. What's your plan for the season of Lent? What are you going to do in order to, spiritually be fruitful? Don't just let it begin and I don't know what I'm going to do. Use this time now to make a small plan. The fasting, prayer, almsgiving, whatever it is. And really, pray for a deeper conversion of heart. Okay, so from the first reading, 1 Kings chapter 10. So now the Queen of Sheba comes from her country to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And our Lord will refer to this incident. She went there's hundreds of miles, I believe, to hear the wisdom of Solomon. So she comes to Solomon and basically, when the Queen of Sheba had observed all the wisdom of Solomon, the house that he had built and so on, all the stuff, his attendants, there was no more spirit in her. She was amazed, she was stunned, she was overwhelmed by all the beauty of it, the magnificence of it. And then she said to the king, the report was true that I heard in my own land of your accomplishments and so on. And she gives him this huge gift. At the end of this episode, she gave the king 120 talents of gold, a great quantity of spices and precious stones. Okay, so first of all, she goes to, I'll grab the teaching of our Lord and pull it back to the past. She goes all this way to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And Jesus will say, that was a good thing. She went to, hundreds of miles to hear the wisdom of one human being, one human person. And yet there's greater than Solomon is here. So what are you willing to do? Put me to death. That's right. So, you can be amazed by what human beings can do, but when somebody comes who's actually not only claiming to be divine, but proving what he's claiming, you won't even consider it. You won't even, be open to the idea, but you will react and rebel against it, and ultimately you will put me to death. So the Queen of Sheba is a model for us to be open to the truth, and be willing to make sacrifices in order to acquire the truth. Only God will know the answer to this question, or only God knows. But how many people have sensed the truth and have said, no, it requires too much sacrifice on my part. I don't want to do that. And God forbid that one day they're going to be held accountable for that. Many people perhaps have rejected the Catholic faith because they sense that it will require sacrifice and dying to themselves, submission of themselves to God, to Jesus Christ. And they said, no, I'm not going to do it. Now, no one knows this. But if that's the case, of course, God will know this, and this is what they will be assessed on. Only God can figure it all out. But you and I need to be willing to make sacrifices for the truth. Over to the Gospel, Matthew chapter 7. Jesus called the crowd and said to him, listen to me and understand there is nothing outside a person that by going in can defile, but the things that come out are what defile. Let anyone with ears to hear, listen. So then the apostles, they get the unique privilege, special privilege of having Jesus explain this to them because they don't know. And it seems like it's rather obvious to us, but it wasn't obvious to them, and it wouldn't be obvious to us if we were there hearing it for the first time. So basically, he said, it is what comes out of a person that defiles, for it is from within, from the human heart, that evil intentions come. Fornication, theft, murder, adultery, avarice, wickedness, and so on. All these things come from within and they defile a person. Now, our Lord was not saying the dietary laws that all Jews were held bound to were for no reason, or they had no, as we would say, merit. They served a purpose. But now the purpose is gone and the dietary laws will be abolished. Why? Because Jesus Christ is present. They're no longer needed. Jesus will bring about the purpose of one of the purposes of the dietary laws, because I think the natural purpose actually helped to keep them alive. But it's almost like that's a secondary or tertiary benefit. But Jesus is the one who, in effect, fulfills all of the aspects of the law. So Jesus is here, and he's the only one who can purify our soul. And that's why we need to pray constantly for purity of heart, purity of mind, purity of will, to be clean of heart, to be clean of mind, clean of will, our imagination, our memory, all of these things we want Jesus to, in effect, infuse with the power of his precious blood so that we can be truly clean of heart. God bless you.